Jason. Today's episode of the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast is brought to the good people by Budget Blinds of Lee Summit.
Budget Blinds!
Jason, our robot shade overlords are back at it again.
They are. Look, we are coming up upon the holidays, and I'm going to say this year, it's been hard to do good out in the world stuff. And Budget Blinds has been trying.
They have.
And they can't resist it. They have to do some good stuff for Christmas time.
So in the last few years, Budget Blinds has teamed up with us here at Link to Lee Summit. We've hosted a special story night with Santa. Kids come, they listen to Santa tell stories. We've got pictures with Santa. Well, I'm sure you guessed, we're not doing that this year.
You're not going to... Wait, we're not going to cram a whole bunch of people in the store and do that because COVID ruins everything.
But those people over at Budget Blinds, they're pretty creative. So here's what we're doing. We've got a special live stream event with Santa planned for Thursday, December 17th. Santa's going to join us live from his North Pole office.
And let's give Santa some props for getting Zoom up there. That's pretty impressive to get the bandwidth all the way to the North Pole.
I wonder if he gets Google Fiber. And if he does, is he paying as cheap as we are?
He probably has to pay a couple extra bucks. Maybe there's probably something with the Canadian thing that's going to mess it all up.
So Santa's going to read some of his favorite holiday stories, and he's going to answer some of your questions. So if you are watching along, you can type out some questions. We'll pass them to Santa, and he's ready to answer all of them. And as always, our friends at Budget Blinds of Lee Summit, they wanted to do a little extra good. So we're going to take donations during this live stream event too. Donations for Lee Summit Social Services are encouraged during that stream. You can follow our Storytime with Santa event page on Facebook for more information as we get closer. Oh yeah. Hey, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
You better make sure you're on the nice list if you're going to watch.
You know, I reached a point at a certain age that I realized that the nice list is purely aspirational for me. So... But we're going to try. I'm going to try to get on the nice list so that I can get in and watch Storytime with Santa.
Well, so thank you to our friends at Budget Blinds of Lee Summit for making this live stream event happen on Thursday, December 17th. Make sure you are there to watch. And hey, if you're looking to do some stuff around the house, go see our friends at Budget Blinds. Tell them Jason and Nick sent you.
Hello again, and welcome to Lee Summit Town Hall, a weekly podcast about what you can do to make a difference. I am Jason Norbury, and as always, I am joined by a man who is giving 100% during this pandemic. It is Nick Parker, the publisher of Link to Lee Summit.
Not 50%, in it to win it.
Not 25%, but 100%.
110, baby.
110. You are giving it all plus a little extra. Well, if you could spare like 25% for me, I would really appreciate it. I could use a little extra. I could use a few extra percent, honestly, just to get me maybe over to like 60, 70% would be lovely. It'd be nice for me. Link to Lee Summit is and remains the source for all the news you need about our very fine city. And our unofficial sponsor today is being ahead on holiday shopping. And by ahead on holiday shopping, I mean not horribly behind on holiday shopping. If I were really ahead, I'd already be done, and that's never going to happen. But usually, it's like a last week scramble, and I'm much farther ahead of my scramble this year than in the past.
I actually am doing well this year. I'm even ahead of the game, maybe, but it's also because we're giving a lot less as far as gifts this year. We kind of, as a family, kind of made that decision
that's fair.
We don't want or need a whole lot more, and some of our other family members felt the same way. So our present giving has shrunk this year.
Ours has as well, and we've actually asked to receive fewer presents. That was the other thing we did. It was like, it's like not so much and trying to do stuff that has a little bit more personal meaning and maybe more. We like to try to do experiential gifts, but like planning a date or like an outing right now.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm going to buy you tickets and we're going to go do this thing eventually.
Someday.
When the pandemic's over in the future.
We're not going to get bogged down today, Jason.
No.
We're not going to do it. We're not going down the rabbit holes. Matter of fact, coming up soon, we have a really good interview, a short talk with a new member of the downtown business community. who's been out doing some good. So we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. First, I want to go over a couple of quick news and notes things that are happening around the community. First off, City Council on Tuesday night. We're recording this on Tuesday for Wednesday's publication, but on Tuesday night, the City Council will hear the first reading of an ordinance that essentially Jason is going to grant approximately 25% of its an original agreement, public service agreements with the Lee Summit Chamber, Lee Summit Economic Development Council, Velocity Lee Summit, and Downtown Lee Summit Main Street. Oh, and also the community marketing program. That'll go for the second half of the fiscal year 2021. When the pandemic began, the council, just to be prepared for budget shortfalls, had an agreement to just give the first 50% over those first 6 months of the year. Now it's come back, and as they look at the budget, they're saying it's going to be about 25% that they'll
So the total is going to be about 70% all, or 75% overall. It's just, this is the 25 of the second half, the other 50,
Yes.
right? It's half of the other 50 that they're getting there. So just for those of us who don't want to do math, just wanted to make sure we get that taken care of. But yeah, this is a kicker, but it's actually not too bad in terms of like the actual budget shortfall stuff. It's not, the numbers aren't too bad for now.
Right. And I think the reason I bring it up and the thing to watch, because oddly enough, that 2020 is coming to a close here, Jason. It's time. It's hard to keep track of time. But as the year ends and we move into the next budget cycle, this will be a thing to watch because of conversations that happened on the dais, particularly last week, around these public service agreements, where you saw the mayor and several members of the city council talking about that they thought there was a lack of accountability on from these organizations about, are they living up to the things that they're promising the city that they will do in exchange for this money. The mayor came out and said that he thought that these organizations weren't working well together as a group, and that he maybe wants to explore turning these separate public service agreements into one, and then having all those groups come together and figure out how to divide it up. So there's a lot of change that's being discussed. There's some accusations about accountability being thrown in there. So this is something to watch as the next budget cycle gets going.
Right. And without naming any names, like this is, I think, a recurring symptom of some dissatisfaction with specifically one or maybe one or so of the PSA agreements or PSA organizations that are getting out there. And I wonder, one of the things that the council has never done, and this runs over the course of the body, is ever really try to hold one of those groups, any one group, right? If there's one group that has run afoul of the council or the mayor or somebody at any given point, to really hold that one group accountable. So this strikes me, at least some of this initial posturing, as some way to sort of have at that dissatisfaction that they may be feeling with one or another of the organizations without actually having to say that out loud. So, it's one of those things. And I don't know.
So you're saying this is conflict to avoid conflict?
Yeah, basically. Or it's avoiding conflict by shoving the conflict off. If you have a problem with this, you can say, all right, well, there's this pot of money now, you guys go fight for it. Right. And that's, and putting the various PSA groups in direct competition with one another to wrestle who gets the money, I'm not sure is a solution to the thing. But here's the thing. We don't know. So before we get too far the cart ahead of the horse, do that. But I would encourage our council members that if they have specific identifiable issues with any of the organizations, that they be willing to put those on the public record before they go heaping changes upon all of the groups, because of they may have an individual or one or two of the groups a dissatisfaction with the funding, or like some council members have at least hinted at, just as soon see all the PSA organization, all those contracts go away entirely, right? And deal with that way. But once again, if you're going to take those sorts of stances, I hope the council has the capacity to have a conversation about it and put those facts on the record so that the public can see and understand what those things are, and to give the PSA organizations an opportunity to come in and say, oh no, here's the value we provide for the money that we get.
Yeah, if this turns out to be a little more transparency, a little more of a window into services provided to the city, in essence, the people of Lee Summit, then that's a good thing. So I think the onus here is going to be on the mayor and the council to make that conversation happen, and to allow then those organizations to come present and answer those questions. But first, you've got to ask the questions, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, another conversation, the citywide conversation surrounding the Human Relations Commission's recommendation a few months ago to rename Todd George Road. Jason, that's still happening. The council had a little bit more conversation this last week, and they have committed to holding a public hearing on this subject in the future. No date's been set yet, but I think that's another thing to watch. And it links to the broader national conversations, and even we just had an election in our county about removing some statues, right? So this is just an ongoing conversation. I think it's interesting to watch, and stay tuned. You'll see about a public hearing coming up.
Right. And it's good. I mean, well, to give some kudos to the council here. They didn't just bury it and forget it ever existed. Took the recommendation, said, yeah, we'll get to it, and then never get to it. And so now we have a statement that they have committed to a public hearing, and we will be on the lookout for that public hearing and see how it goes.
Now for something a little bit lighter, Jason. Two
Yay!
things. One, as you heard in the commercial earlier, we are now less than 10 days away from Santa.
This is you literally were so excited you clipped. So yeah, Santa. So we got that we have that coming up here in that, but we're not done with holiday themed events here on the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast.
No, Jason, last year we had a special invitation from the White Ridge Farm neighborhood to come judge their holiday lights. Well, guess what? They have asked these two clowns back.
This
so
is
that's
true.
Right. White Ridge Farm neighborhood, we're coming to get judgy.
We're coming to get judgy. And I'm going to say this, there probably will be, I'm going to guess, a reduced amount of snark in this year's judging, in the pre-judging part of the competition as we drive around, because, well, Nick and I are going to be in separate cars this year because of, what's our favorite phrase? COVID ruins everything. We're going to be in separate cars, so we a little less snark, but we are prepared, and we are upping the game. We're upping the game.
That's right. Look, if your house ain't lit yet, folks, you need to do it, because, and I'm not going to announce it yet what it is, but there is a prize this year.
There is a prize.
Is going to get an absolutely fantastic, couldn't be better,
bespoke, a bespoke prize as well. So just put that out there. But yeah, no, we're very excited. I want to say thank you again to White Ridge Farms Homes Association to invite us back to do this again. It was a lot of fun last year, and a good excuse to kind of get out and check out other people's Christmas lights. I even upped my personal Christmas light game a little bit this year, a little bit. Not so much that I climbed like way high on the ladder, because no, but I did add extra Christmas lights this year. So we're pretty excited about that. But yeah, no, I'm excited to do it again. We are coming. So get those lights up by this weekend so we can come judge you.
I am even looking, Jason, to borrow a better camera from someone so that we can have some better pictures to put on the League to Lee Summit website.
Amen to that.
Because our phone camera game was not awesome last year.
Well, look, phone cameras are not designed to take panoramic pictures of Christmas lights in the dark. That's not what they build those for. Look, they are for, and let's be clear, taking pictures of plates of tacos. That's what camera phones are for.
That's true.
And this is a much more challenging compositional project than taco pictures, which are always beautiful because they are of tacos.
So White Ridge Farm, get your lights ready. And hey, anybody else out there, if you want us to come judge you, we will. You just got to let me know. Reach out to us on the Facebooks. We will come judge you.
We will judge you. We are good at judging you.
With that, Jason, we're gonna come back with a nice interview, a little chat with Chad Dumas, the senior vice president at ReeceNichols. They just built and moved into a new building in downtown Lee Summit. And Jason, they're doing a little good. They're making their presence known by helping some people as they get settled into their
They've
new
been
digs.
down here for far too short a time to get a good on you. But yet, Good on you.
Good on you. And with that, we will be back with Chad Dumas.
We are here with Chad Dumas, a senior vice president with ReeceNichols in the downtown Lee Summit office. Chad, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
We're good. I'm very much enjoying the view behind you. For those of you who are listening, Chad is clearly in a corner office in the new ReeceNichols building there on Southwest Main. And in the background, I believe that is the current Lee Summit Historical Museum, old post office building that is there. Is that correct?
Good eye. That's exactly where I'm at. Yeah.
That's very fancy. I just wanted to point that out as they're going. So Chad, I guess that's the first thing. You guys have built a building downtown, kind of squeezed it right there between the two existing structures, kind of warmed my downtown development heart. How are you finding the new building and being downtown?
Man, it's been great. It's kind of a long time coming. It was something that we're trying to work on over the last several years, and officially moved in June 1. So we've been here, 6 months or so, and the process was worth it, honestly. And we're right where we wanted to be, and I think we're already making an impact. And I know that we're just really enjoying being around people here for sure.
What was it like finishing a building and moving in the middle of a pandemic? I mean, it's not like you had a big open house and to launch off with a giant crowd and stuff. So how different was that?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, everything was affected by the pandemic, including construction, when back in March, when the first lockdown was issued, luckily they deemed, construction workers essential. So there wasn't a lot of slowdown, but it really changed even how those construction workers had to interact with each other. You had to back trades off. So it really kind of slowed the process down, but you're exactly right. It was kind of odd moving in the middle of a pandemic, and especially for us, it wasn't so much odd on the real estate side, but we know that there's been mandates set on restaurants and shopping, and really a lot of the reason we wanted to be downtown. And so it was challenging because on one hand, we were really excited to get down here. On the other, we didn't want to necessarily celebrate it because we know that other business owners and stuff are kind of going through some weird times. And so it's been a little tricky navigating through that for sure. We cannot wait to do a party at some point, that's for sure. But hopefully that's coming mid next year or something.
What really attracted you guys to put a building downtown, to move your offices downtown? I know those things probably aren't in the window now, but what was it that drew you down?
Yeah, there's a lot of things really. We had been in our old location for about 30 years, and it was in a strip center, treated us really well. But we really, first of all, wanted to be in a freestanding building. We didn't want to be in a strip center anymore. And so we wanted to find a plot that we could build up. But specifically, when we figured out there was maybe an opportunity to get downtown, really, we just put all of our effort in this. And it's everything. I mean, it's the fact that our agents can walk to coffees and to grab a drink or to grab lunch, to just really being in what we consider the heartbeat of the city. It was, we try to be more than a real estate office. And I know everybody probably says that kind of stuff, but we really try to partner with other businesses. And so being where so much of the heart of Lee Summit is and where those businesses exist, it just was a natural fit for us. And so we look forward to many, many years down here.
What's the crowd like? And I'm speaking in terms of the people in your office. I know, look, a Salesforce, you don't always expect people to be in the office all the time anyway, but are you still getting people? Are they coming in and working out even in this time when a lot of people are working from home?
Yeah. So in a regular time, we probably have 70 to 75 people here a lot of times. Right. And we're not seeing that. We're seeing 30-ish probably people at most any time. And I think it's just like everywhere else. You've got people are handling the pandemic differently. Some have decided to really lock down at home and wait this out, and we absolutely respect that. And others are doing business safely here, and that's great too. And We certainly have many mandates in place to make sure that everybody stays protected. So people are coming in, everybody's in a mask, except for when they're in their private office, like what I'm in right now. So definitely the foot traffic slowed down some. Doesn't feel quite like it will, whenever this is over with, but we're still seeing a lot of smiling faces every day for sure.
Good. How has the pandemic sort of impacted the way you guys do your business? Just, I mean, not even just coming into the office, but people. I had this realization like a month or so in. People still have to like move and buy houses and sell houses. I mean, I don't want to like right now because like now seems like a terrible time to try to make changes in your life, but there are times and a lot of people just have to. So how are you guys finding that has impacted what you're doing, like how you do it, as well as how much you have to get to do it?
Yeah, great question. And oddly enough, Jason, to your last point there, we're actually having the best real estate year we've ever had. There are more people buying and selling houses during the pandemic than at any other time. It's remarkable. Honestly, no one could have predicted that in March. But this year's been an incredible real estate year. We have had to, make sure that agents are following safety protocols, and essentially, we're encouraging agents to treat every single person's house the same way as you would walking into a restaurant. You can't walk into Third Street Social right now without wearing a mask, without sanitizing your hands, staying 6 feet away from anybody else in the restaurant. And we're encouraging agents to treat houses the same way. So anytime you're showing a buyer a house, you should be in separate cars, for example. Generally, in a regular market, you got the agent driving the client around. Well, that's changed right now. Everybody's in masks. We're encouraging gloves, footies when people walk in the door. But even sellers are opening all the cabinets, opening all the doors of the house, having all the lights on. We're avoiding touching things inside houses as much as we can. And so there's a lot of just basic kind of safety protocols that now everybody's getting used to, because that's what you're doing anywhere you go. And just because you're at a house, that's not your house, right? It's not your house as an agent. It's not your house as a buyer. So you treat it as a business. You treat it the same way you would anywhere else that has those type of protocols.
You mentioned you're looking to have your best year as a firm. Why is that? Why is it that this business seems to be doing so well during the pandemic?
Man, I wish I knew the answer to that.
What's the magic juice?
Minus the coronavirus for sure.
Hey, if we log off for a minute, will you tell us that on the side so that we know how to make our businesses do the same thing? Or is that I'm not putting this on the podcast?
And truly, I feel weird even talking about that, honestly. And I mean that because we are having a really good year in this business. And we haven't really advertised that much just because we know not everybody is in that position. Real estate, by and large, is having a really good real estate year. But some other businesses aren't, like I said. And so we want to be really careful. By the way, going back to 07, 08, when the housing crash happened, we've experienced negatives certainly as well. But I think right now what's really driving the housing market, we got years of pent up demand. There's Jason, I know you either are or were on the planning commission, and so there's a need. It's over and over again for lower priced housing in Lee Summit. It's that first time home buyer or that $200,000 or under home buyer has been shut out of the market now for years. And so what's happened is this pent up demand. You got years worth of demand, and last year, the year before that, we were seeing people in the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 type price points were not moving. They weren't listing their house for sale, and so it was really jamming everything up. One of the biggest things that happened this year is people started listing their houses, and suddenly those people that were kind of aging in place, they have listed. Many of them have listed their houses for sale. So it's created a little bit of breathing room there. We still have a huge shortage of inventory in many price points. And so I don't see the market changing negatively anytime soon as far as just number of house sales. But the other thing is, interest rates are ridiculously low. I don't think that can stay that way forever. But that has really driven a ton of business for sure. But pricing still, remains pretty affordable as well as a whole across the metro. So.
Awesome. Well, so I won't get myself caught into a whole conversation about housing affordability. Otherwise, Nick will
I was kind of waiting for this
little drive over to my house and hit me with something. But I do want to say, so you've been having a good year, and I want to transition into I think the other big reason we wanted to talk to you today. You've been sharing some of your good fortune with people who are doing a lot of hard work during this pandemic. So why don't you tell us, and I know it's uncomfortable to brag on yourself, but you're going to have to do it. You came on this podcast. Tell us a little bit about what you've done here in downtown and for some of the people around our community.
Yeah, so first of all, several months ago, back in March, April, I actually kind of stole something from your guys' playbook, honestly. And I did some one-on-one interviews with different restaurant owners here in downtown Lee Summit, and just talked about their pivots and kind of how they were going to transition their business to do so safely, to offer curbside, whatever they were doing at that point. And I wanted to try to broadcast to my audience or ReeceNichols audience what some of those different business owners were doing, and then from there. This thing just keeps, dragging out, of course. And I can't take credit for this idea either. But in fact, I saw an insurance agent that had opened a couple tabs at a couple restaurants here in downtown. And I was like, man, that is a really cool idea. And so I started brainstorming with our agents here, and our agents actually contributed $3,500 to this tab idea. And so then we went to Andy at 3rd Street and Justin and Billy and all kinds of different people across the metro, and asked them if they'd be willing to let us open a tab to drive some business, to their businesses, to maybe make some awareness about their business and so forth. We always chose like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a traditionally slower day of the week. But then we wanted to choose a group of people who were really stepping up in the pandemic. So you're right, we did a $1,000 open tab for teachers. We had started at $500 at Conrad's, and then it absolutely went ballistic. Teachers love free food, is what we learned. So we upped it in the middle of the deal, and that was our first one. And then we did a $250 just kind of hidden tab with Whistle Stop. And I told Candace, I said, really, just if someone's friendly, like this is just a heavy time, and people are walking around with frowns on their faces and unhappy. And man, I'm drawn to people who are positive and can find things even in tough times to be happy about. And so I told Candace, like, when you recognize those people, just tell them coffee's on us. And so that was kind of a cool one. Then we did stay-at-home parents with Josh and the guys that smoke. Did a $500 tab there. Did first responders with Andy and 3rd Street Social, and then did nurses, doctors, pharmacists, medical professionals with Stewie McBruce. I feel like I'm missing one. I think we did teachers again, another place, and I'm going to draw a blank on where that was, but I apologize for that. But it was really just a deal where, again, we wanted it to be twofold. We wanted it to be to help the business, and we wanted to recognize and honor some people who are really doing some remarkable things. Our slogan is rewarding lives. And, I mentioned earlier in this thing, like we try to look at ourselves as more than a real estate company. We really want to be a community leader. And, we like to say we're in a relationship business, and we're not just selling houses, but we really want to partner with our community, our clients, all through their home ownership activity. And we work with teachers, obviously, we work with people in every one of those professions. And so we just wanted to take an opportunity to give back is all. So
what's the feedback been? I mean, are you feeling like you've made some connections that way, and you've put some smiles on people? Have you heard some response?
Yeah, it's been awesome, man. I mean, the last one we did was at Stewie's last week, and I was really working with Billy mostly over there, and he said it just went great. It's been awesome. I mean, I've gotten multiple messages from teachers who are like, man, I was having a really tough day, and this made my day. And it's funny that something like a free, meal, $20 or whatever, buying some tacos or whatever it is, can just make someone's day, or at least cause it to be better. Maybe they're having a rough day. We got a message from a NICU nurse who took a picture of herself at NICU and said how tired she was, and that this was just a cool surprise that someone tagged her in a post. And so she went from St. Luke's East straight to Stewie's, picked up her food, and at least was able to have kind of a nice end to her day. So it's been really great, man. I mean, that's exactly why we did it.
Chad, I'm going to say this. If you buy someone tacos, you will always brighten their day.
Right.
That is a core pillar of this podcast, the way we stand and the way we live in this world. So kudos to you for doing that.
Tacos can cure world peace. I mean, really, we
cure world peace?
Well,
is that a problem we need to fix, Nick? Or is that
it can make world peace happen. Look, you said tacos. I got so confused. I know. I was just excited.
Hey, look, if we're all eating tacos, our hands are too full to fire guns or punch one another. So you're correct. Tacos will create world peace.
Good point.
I think there's a lot to be said there, Chad. A lot of people have found that kind of moving their business world into kind of that personal side and doing some good and making real connections. It does a lot, not only for the people you're trying to help out, but I think it helps ease the stress for yourself as well, to kind of just know that you're doing something right. You're doing something good.
Yeah. And especially in a year where we can do that. And, we always try to partner on true charitable organizations. Right now we have 200 stars for the Angel Tree, for example, with Lee Summit Social Services. We love Lee Summit Social Services. We Sleep in Heavenly Peace is another organization. And so we do a lot on a philanthropic level, specifically for charities, but we really wanted to figure out a way to do something for the average person, or the person that's doing just something, stepping up, doing something remarkable right now. And whoever the insurance agent was that did it, it was a great idea. And so we just took it and ran with it, honestly. So
look, I have no problem with thievery. I've built my entire professional career off of it. I call it R&D, rob and duplicate. There's nothing wrong with it. So no shame, man.
No, yeah. Hey, and if someone else wants to step up and do the same thing we just did, great. Have at it for sure. I think there's opportunity there if we had more money, and maybe we'll raise money again, but we were even looking at trying to do something for construction workers, or, some of these other people out there who are doing just great jobs in a time where it's just tough to maybe get up and go to work every day. But, there are many jobs like that. There are many essential jobs, and, if we could have raised even more and we were going to open another $500 tab somewhere, we would look at those type of people next, for sure.
Now I want to see if there's a way we can challenge one of your competitors, maybe to step up and do it.
I like that.
Can we issue a challenge maybe to Keller Williams?
Oh, hey, go for it if you want to.
We're not above shaming people into doing that. We'll take it. We'll take doing good wherever we can get it.
That's right. I agree with that.
Well, Chad, welcome to the downtown community. Downtown is a big personally thing for both Jason and I. Jason is a past board member for the downtown organization. I currently serve on it. I live down here. I work down here. So congratulations on the new building. Welcome to the neighborhood, and thank you for doing a little good in the community.
Appreciate it, man. And we're just happy to be here, and we can't wait to get to some normalcy to where, to where our agents are going to be out and about and really contributing to all the other businesses down here. We're really excited, and I know everybody's ready for this thing to get over, and certainly we are too. So appreciate you guys having me on today.
Thank you for your time. That'll wrap us up for this week. We will talk to everybody on Friday.